Hello and welcome to Hand to English. Today's story is emotional, honest, and full of difficult choices. It will also help you improve your English through simple conversations and real-life situations. As you listen, imagine every scene and every feeling. This is the story of a woman who married a kind man for the wrong reason and had to find the courage to tell the truth. My name is Jessica. I am 28 years old, and I live in a quiet neighborhood in Chicago called Lincoln Park. It is a peaceful place with tall trees, small cafes, and friendly neighbors. People often smile when they see me walking to work. They think I have a perfect life. I have a nice apartment. I have a steady job at a bookstore. I have a husband who loves me more than anything, but I am not happy. Every morning I wake up with a heavy heart. I look at the man sleeping beside me, and I feel guilty. His name is Andrew. He is 32 years old. He is kind, patient, and gentle. He never forgets my birthday. Every Friday he brings me fresh flowers. When I am tired, he cooks dinner without asking me to help. He always tells me I am beautiful, even when I do not believe it myself. He is a wonderful husband. The problem is not Andrew. The problem is me. 1 year ago, I married him for the wrong reason. Before Andrew, I loved another man. His name was Paul. We dated for 4 years. I believed we would get married one day. I trusted him with my whole heart. Then one afternoon, he told me he had fallen in love with someone else. Just like that, he walked away. I felt broken. For months, I cried every night. I stopped meeting friends. I stopped enjoying my life. Then Andrew came into my world. He listened to me. He made me laugh. He stayed beside me when everyone else was busy. When he asked me to marry him, I said yes. Not because I loved him, because I wanted to stop hurting. I thought love would come later. It never did. Andrew never knew the truth. He believed I loved him as much as he loved me. Every day, I felt more ashamed. One warm evening, we sat together on our balcony. The stars filled the sky, and a soft wind moved through the trees. Andrew smiled at me. "Jessica," he said softly, "I know this first year has not always been easy, but I believe our love will become stronger every day." I forced myself to smile. "I hope so." He reached for my hand. "I'll wait as long as you need. My love is strong enough for both of us." His words hurt more than angry words ever could. He believed in us. I did not. The next week, Andrew planned a surprise dinner. He cooked creamy chicken pasta, baked garlic bread, and lit candles around the living room. When I came home, he opened the door with a big smile. "Welcome home." Everything looked beautiful. Soft music played in the background. The table was perfect. "This is all for you," he said. I thanked him. I smiled. I even laughed a little, but inside, I felt empty. After dinner, we walked to the small park where he had asked me to marry him. He pointed to the old oak tree. "Remember this place?" he asked. I nodded. "I promised I would love you forever." I looked at the tree. I remembered saying yes. Not because I was happy, because I was afraid of being alone. That night, I could not sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours. I kept asking myself the same question. How long can I keep pretending? The next morning, My best friend Jennifer called me. You sound tired, she said. I am. What's wrong? This time, I could not lie. I don't love Andrew. She stayed quiet. Then she asked gently, Did you ever love him? I closed my eyes. No. Then why did you marry him? I was lonely. I thought marriage would fix my broken heart. Jennifer sighed. Jessica, a marriage cannot heal pain if it is built on pain. Her words stayed with me all day. That evening, Andrew came home carrying a small bouquet of yellow roses. They reminded me of your smile, he said. I almost cried. He kept giving me love. I kept giving him silence. A few days later, something happened that frightened me. We were eating breakfast when Andrew smiled. I've been thinking, he said. What about? Maybe it's time to start a family. I froze. A baby would make our home even happier. I looked down at my coffee. I'm not ready. His smile disappeared for just a second. Then he nodded. That's okay. We can wait. He never became angry. He never blamed me. His kindness made my guilt even heavier. That night, I opened my journal. I wrote one sentence. Andrew deserves someone who truly loves him. I read those words again and again. For the first time, I admitted the truth to myself. I was not protecting him. I was only protecting myself. One weekend, Andrew surprised me with movie tickets. I miss seeing you smile. He said so. We went. He laughed during the funny scenes. He held my hand. He looked at me with hope. I smiled when he looked at me. The moment he turned away, my smile disappeared. When we arrived home, he made us tea. He wrapped his arm around my shoulders. I love spending time with you. I whispered, Thank you. That was all I could say. The silence between us kept growing. A few days later, I met Jennifer at a cafe near the lake. She looked at me carefully. You've lost weight. I know. You can't keep living like this. I don't want to hurt Andrew. You already are. Her words surprised me. What do you mean? He feels your distance every day. The truth will hurt him once. A lie hurts him every day. I looked across the lake. Deep inside, I knew she was right. That night, I stood in front of my apartment door with a small travel bag. I thought about leaving without saying anything. I even held the doorknob. Then I looked back. Andrew was sleeping peacefully on the couch after waiting for me to come home. I dropped the bag. I couldn't leave like that. The next evening, I asked him to sit with me. My hands were shaking. He noticed. Jessica, what's wrong? I took a deep breath. I need to tell you something. He stayed silent. I care about you. He nodded slowly. But I don't love you. The room became completely quiet. I never did, I whispered. I married you because I was trying to forget Paul. I thought love would come later. It didn't. Andrew looked down at the floor. For a long time, he said nothing. Finally, he spoke. I knew something was missing. I looked at him through my tears. You knew. I hoped I was wrong. He smiled sadly. I kept believing one more day would change everything. I started crying. I'm so sorry. He wiped his own eyes. I don't hate you, Jessica. His kindness broke my heart. I just wish you had told me sooner. I nodded. I was afraid. I know. We sat together without speaking. Neither of us shouted. Neither of us blamed the other. There was only sadness, real sadness. That night, I slept in the guest room. For the first time in months, I felt something different. Not happiness, relief. The truth was finally out. The next morning, the apartment felt different. It was very quiet. I woke up early and walked into the kitchen. Andrew was making coffee. He placed 2 cups on the table, without saying a word. "Good morning," he said softly. "Good morning." We sat across from each other. We drank our coffee in silence. The quiet was uncomfortable, but it was honest. We were no longer pretending. After breakfast, I went to work at the bookstore. I arranged books on the shelves, helped customers, and answered questions. I tried to focus, but my thoughts kept returning to Andrew. Had I ruined his life? Would he ever forgive me? When I finished work, Jennifer was waiting outside. She smiled gently and gave me a hug. "How are you feeling?" "I don't know," I admitted. "I feel guilty, but I also feel lighter." She nodded. "That is normal. Telling the truth is painful, but living a lie is even more painful." We walked slowly through the park. Leaves moved gently in the wind. Children were playing nearby, laughing without a care in the world. "I think I need to leave the apartment," I said. Jennifer looked at me. "Have you told Andrew?" "Not yet." "You should." That evening, Andrew was reading a book when I came home. "Can we talk?" I asked. He closed the book and nodded. "I think it's time for me to move out." He looked at me quietly. "I expected that." "You did?" "Yes." He took a slow breath. "If staying here hurts both of us, then leaving is probably the right choice." Tears filled my eyes. "I'm sorry." He gave me a small smile. "I know. I never wanted to break your heart." Andrew looked at me for a long moment. "You didn't plan this, Jessica. You made a mistake. We both have to accept it." His kindness surprised me again. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." "This isn't about deserving it. Holding on to anger won't help either of us." The next morning, I packed my clothes, a few books, and my journal. The apartment suddenly looked unfamiliar. Every room held a memory. The kitchen where Andrew cooked my favorite meals. The balcony where he dreamed about our future. The living room where we watched movies together. Even though I never loved him the way he loved me, those memories still mattered. Andrew carried my suitcase to the front door. "I'll help you," he said. "You don't have to." "I know." When we reached the door, neither of us moved. Finally, I spoke. "Thank you for everything." He nodded. "I hope one day you find the happiness you're looking for." "I hope you do too." He opened the door. "Take care, Jessica." "You too, Andrew." I walked outside without looking back. Jennifer was waiting in her car. She smiled warmly. "Ready?" I took one deep breath. Yes. As we drove away, I watched the apartment disappear behind us. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel trapped. I felt afraid, but I also felt free. Jennifer welcomed me into her apartment. "You can stay as long as you need," she said. "Thank you." During the first few days, I cried often. Sometimes while making breakfast. Sometimes before going to sleep. Sometimes for no reason at all. Jennifer never asked too many questions. She simply sat beside me whenever I needed someone. Little by little, life became easier. Every evening after work, I walked beside the lake. The fresh air helped clear my mind. I watched people jogging, riding bicycles, and walking their dogs. Life continued moving forward. Maybe mine could, too. One afternoon, I noticed a poster outside the community center. Creative writing class. Beginners welcome. I stopped walking. I had always loved books. Maybe I could learn to write my own stories. Without thinking too much, I signed up. The class met every Thursday evening. There were only 8 students. Some were young, some were retired. Everyone had a different story. During the first class, the teacher smiled and said, "Write about a moment that changed your life." My hand moved slowly across the page. I wrote about the day I married Andrew, not because it was my happiest day, because it was the day I stopped listening to my own heart. When I finished reading my story aloud, the room became quiet. The teacher smiled kindly. "Thank you for your honesty." Those words stayed with me. Honesty. That was what had finally changed my life. Weeks passed. I smiled more often. I laughed during class. I even made a few new friends. One evening, I opened my notebook and wrote, "I spent 1 year trying to become someone else. Now I want to become myself." Reading those words made me smile. Not because my life was perfect, because I finally believed healing was possible. One afternoon, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Andrew. "Hi, Jessica. I hope you're doing well. I joined a cooking class. It keeps me busy. I just wanted you to know that I'm okay." You don't have to reply. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I smiled gently. I typed, "Thank you, Andrew. I'm happy you're doing well. I joined a writing class. It's helping me, too. I wish you nothing but happiness." A minute later, he replied, "Thank you. Take care of yourself." That was all. No anger. No blame. Just kindness. I put my phone away and looked out the window. The sun was setting over the lake. For the first time in many months, I felt peaceful. I realized something important. Sometimes loving someone means letting them go. Sometimes being honest is the greatest gift you can give, even when it hurts. Months passed, and little by little, my life began to change. I found a small studio apartment, only 10 minutes from the bookstore. It was not big or expensive, but it felt warm and peaceful. The first thing I bought was a small plant for the window. Then I painted one wall a soft yellow. I placed my favorite books on a wooden shelf and hung a picture of Lake Michigan above my desk. For the first time in years, I had a place that truly felt like mine. Every morning, I made a cup of coffee and sat by the window before work. I watched people walking to their jobs, children riding bicycles, and neighbors greeting one another. Life felt simple again. I still had lonely days. Sometimes I came home to an empty apartment and wished someone was waiting for me. But then I reminded myself that being alone was better than living a life built on a lie. One Saturday afternoon, Jennifer came to visit. She looked around the apartment and smiled. "It looks just like you." I laughed. "What does that mean?" "It feels peaceful." I poured us 2 cups of tea. I never thought peace could feel so good. Jennifer nodded. "Sometimes peace is better than excitement. We talked for hours. Before she left, she hugged me. "I'm proud of you." "For what?" "For choosing honesty, even when it was difficult." After she left, I stood by the window thinking about her words. For a long time, I believed I had failed. Now, I understood something different. Leaving was not failure. Pretending forever would have been. A few weeks later, our writing class finished its final project. Each student read a personal story in front of the group. When it was my turn, I stood with shaking hands. I took a deep breath and began reading. I spoke about heartbreak. I spoke about fear. I spoke about marrying a kind man for the wrong reason. And I spoke about learning that love cannot be forced. When I finished reading my story, the room became quiet. The teacher smiled kindly. "Thank you for your honesty." I smiled back. I've learned that the truth is sometimes painful, but it also sets us free. Walking home that evening, I felt lighter than ever. One afternoon, while cleaning my bedroom, I found a small box at the back of my closet. Inside was the silver heart necklace Andrew had given me during our trip to the lake. I held it in my hand for a long time. It was beautiful. It was also a reminder of a chapter that had ended. I knew I couldn't keep it. I placed the necklace back into the box and wrote a short note. "Dear Andrew, thank you for every act of kindness you showed me. You loved me with all your heart, and I will always respect you for that. I cannot keep this necklace because it belongs to a love I could never return. I truly hope one day you meet someone who loves you as deeply as you love them. You deserve that happiness. Take care, Jessica." I gave the box to Jennifer. "Would you mind giving this to Andrew?" She nodded, of course. A few days later, she called me. He received it. "What did he say?" He smiled and he said, "Tell Jessica, thank you. I wish her a happy life." I closed my eyes. A tear rolled down my cheek, not because I wanted him back, but because two people who had once shared the same home could still choose kindness instead of anger. Winter slowly turned into spring. Flowers appeared in the parks. The trees became green again. I spent more time outside. I visited museums. I read books in small cafes. I laughed with my classmates after writing sessions. Every week I felt stronger. One evening after work, I walked beside the lake as the sun was setting. The water reflected the orange sky. Everything looked calm. I stopped walking and looked at my reflection. For months, I had only seen sadness. Now I saw something different. Hope. Not because someone had saved me, because I had finally been honest with myself. I whispered quietly, "Thank you." Not to anyone else. To myself for finding the courage to tell the truth, for choosing a difficult path instead of an easy lie. I realized something important that day. Love is not only about finding the right person. It is also about being the right person. You cannot build a happy future on a dishonest beginning, and you cannot expect someone else to heal a broken heart. Only time, honesty, and self-love can do that. Today, when people ask if I regret my decision, I answer honestly. I regret hurting Andrew, but I do not regret telling the truth. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let someone go. Andrew deserved a wife who loved him with her whole heart. I deserved the chance to discover who I really was. We both deserved a new beginning. I don't know where life will take me next. Maybe one day I will fall in love again. Maybe I won't. For now, that doesn't matter. Right now, I am learning to enjoy quiet mornings, good books, long walks, and peaceful evenings. I am learning that happiness does not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it comes quietly. Sometimes it begins the moment you stop pretending. If you are listening to my story and your heart feels heavy, I want to tell you something. Do not make important decisions because you are lonely. Do not stay silent because you are afraid. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the people who love you. The truth may hurt today, but it can bring peace tomorrow. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that everyone makes mistakes. But mistakes do not have to define your future. There is always a chance to begin again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who may need these words today. Until next time, take care of yourself. Keep learning English. And remember that every new day is another chance to write a better chapter of your own story.